Congruent figures. So congruent figures. So for figures to be congruent, figures must be the same size and shape. So let's look at example 1. Which figures below seem to be congruent? Well, if we look at them, they seem pretty similar. You can kind of see there's like a slant right here, right? Like these all kind of have slants. So they need to have the same size, right? So they all seem to have the same shape, but are they the same size? Well, we can notice that these bottom ones, let's do red, don't work because they are much smaller, so they're not the same size. So let's look at the top 3 now. Well, if we look at this, you can see that this one looks a little bit larger. So the first and the second one don't look to be similar. So let's look at the third one here. So if we notice, if we just rotated it like this one looks to be the same size and shape as this one. It's just a different orientation, right? It's just kind of rotated. So we would say this first and third one seem to be congruent. Let me just go ahead and exit that one out. Now let's do another example. So example 2, use the figures below to find congruent sides and angles. So if we look at this, we can kind of see that this one, right, is just kind of like laying on its side, and this one's kind of on a tilt. So if we were to bring that down, right, we would have something like that to be like this one, which is a really rough sketch. But so let's go over something real quick also we haven't talked about is congruency. So congruent has a sign to show if it's congruent, and it has an equal sign with this little squiggly on top of the equal sign. So if we were to do that, we can go say like AD, the segment, is congruent to then UB. Then what about the segment, say AB, or this one, right, is the same as this one. They're congruent. Then BC, and let's just go CD. So we have to show all the sides. So BC is like XY, and then CD is like YZ. So we've done all the sides. We can go check. Now let's do the angles. So notice we have 4 angles, right? We have this angle, this angle, this angle, and this angle. So 2 ways we can do it. So sometimes you can see it like maybe let's say angle A is congruent to angle U. Now, so that's one way. Or a lot of times you'd use this angle sign and you'd go BAD. So going from BAD, right, A is the angle, so you put the angle in the middle of the 3 letters. So if you go to the other figure, it'd be X, U, Z. So X, U, and Z. Then let's go angle right here, angle A, D to C to create this angle. So ADC is congruent with, well, we're going to go from U, angle first, angle U, Z, Y. Then let's just keep going. We can go from, so notice that we just kind of move on. So now we just go DC right here, those 2 DC, and then now up to, right, B to create this angle. So we start with angle ZY right here to all the way to x. So we've done 3 angles, so now we just have to do the last angle. So we've done A, D, C, and so we need to have right angle B. So we go C, B to A, which is congruent with Y. Let's just show this. From Y to X to U to create this angle. So these angles here are congruent, right? So we have Y, X, and we go to U. So we have found all the congruent sides and angles of these two trapezoids.